Remember, this entire manga and every manga on this channel is hand-drawn by myself, and now you too can learn exactly how to make your own viral Dragon Ball mangas at www.makemanga.com, where you can learn directly from me. My mangas have got me on TV, on newspapers, and even earned me over $60,000 a month on Patreon alone. And now, you can click the link in the description and pinned comment of this video and do it yourself. You only need to see the website to see just how many thousands of you are taking this opportunity right now. And don't forget also, the next video to this Ultra Vegito series has already been made and is live now on my Patreon right now for over 4,500 of you incredible fans to watch after this. Again, links are in the pinned comment and description. Enjoy.
Where is that clown?
So our story continues with an annoyed and frustrated Vegeta waiting with the rest of the revived Z-Fighters on Kami's lookout. Each patiently waiting for Goku on what was supposed to be a short trip to get Senzu beans from Korin.
Kakarot! That damn fool!
But eventually, such dissatisfaction would begin to spill out from the prince, as he would begin gritting his teeth and saying,
How long could it possibly take to get those magic beans? It's been hours! In a second, I'm going to bring that clown back up here myself!
Patience, Vegeta. But interrupting, trying to control the situation from escalating, Hit, in his usual calm manner, would say, There's no need to get agitated. Though, I do agree, time is of the essence when it comes to stopping Lucif. You all know Son Goku better than I, but I can only imagine one possibility for him. Sidetracked by a good battle. Sounds like Goku, alright. As Krillin, with a smile, would easily confirm knowing his best friend like the back of his hand. As he would add, Hey, if you're really that bothered, why don't you just use your instant transmission to sense where he is? Then, you could go see for yourself. And immediately, Vegeta, who learned instant transmission relatively recently on Yardrat compared to Goku, would be surprised with his overlooking of such an idea. As now chuckling, back with a smile on his face, as he places two fingers on his head, Vegeta would begin searching for Goku's energy signature throughout the universe. But as he would let out,
Well, who knew you'd be useful for once, Baldy? Let's see.
But just as Vegeta would begin to look for Goku, what he would see and sense would send him into shock. As he would mumble,
Kakarot! You're in that form again? Wait a minute. You're not on Earth. Where the hell?
But this surprise would soon turn to anger once again, as the prince would grumble,
Typical. Kakarot's out there in a battle, just as you two Baldies said. Having fun and getting stronger, while I rot here in the presence of you weaklings. Don't worry, clown. Two can play at that game. Father!
leading to Vegeta mysteriously calling out to his father from a past timeline, who would look on curious as the prince would continue.
You mentioned you wanted some family time. What better time than now? Besides, It's been a while since we conquered a planet together.
King Vegeta, looking on with a slight smirk, would then reply,
Family time? More like I'm interested in seeing just how strong my son will be when he grows up.
before then beginning to slowly fly up and eventually landing right next to the prince with his hand on his shoulder, continuing,
If you're anything like that Vegito, I'll be impressed. Don't let me down now.
To which a smiling back Vegeta, ready to instant transmission away, would just confidently reply,
Just you wait and see, father.
And just like that, the father-son duo would vanish from Kami's lookout, leaving the rest of the Z-Fighters to just watch on. But once gone, curiously, Yamcha would have something on his mind as he would ask, well, that's cool and all, but if Goku and Vegeta are both gone now, who's going to bring Piccolo back? And with that, a complete silence would fall over the lookout, as not one of the Z-Fighters would have an answer.
Goku! I'm ready to go now! How do I even let him know I'm finished? I don't think we thought this through.
As standing awkwardly in the same position after having defeated the demon army invading Namek, Orange Piccolo would be left stranded until further notice. But meanwhile, on another planet, not as green as the last... What has happened? When we would peer closer, on the planet of Yardrat, the warrior class would be seen fighting tooth and nail with their demonic invaders.
Come here, Pudgy!
Why are you here? As scenes of Elder Pibara, the strongest of the Yardrats, and Goku and Vegeta's former master, would even be seen on the run as a barrage of lower demons, grinning from ear to ear, chase with the aim to kill. Enough! But with one call from the many mini Pibaras running around, each would stop in their tracks as if reacting to a warning siren before... Ooh! Suddenly, each of the multiforms would clump together and fuse back to their original self as the original Elder Pibara, one of the many techniques the Yardrats had shown previously. And with his blue skin shining, but still small in stature, the Yardratian warrior would ominously let out, perhaps that ability is the only way to stop you beasts. And no matter what inner dialogue he would have, the demons circling around like hyenas would only have one goal in mind. Very well. I wish peace to you all in the afterlife. As now concentrating what little energy he has within, Elder Pibara's power level would rise before... In an instant, showcasing once more the unique techniques of the Yardrats and their spirit control, the Yardratian would grow several times larger in size in the space of a few seconds.
What happened?
Confusing the gang of demons around the Elder to no end, as for the first time, they sense a hint of fear from the mortals they came to conquer. And for good reason, as once back as one and his size grown, so too would Elder Pibara's strength, as in his last effort to protect his home, the demons would be beat back. Even to the point they would be smashed down to the planet's surface for shallow graves, leaving only one more in his vicinity right behind.
Stop resisting, Fleshy!
But unfortunately, the Elder would be stronger, but not all-seeing. And it wouldn't be long before this demon in his blind spot would approach fast and... with one violent strike of his foot, the Elder Yardrat would be launched from behind. Sent into a spin, as his overweight body would twirl uncontrollably before... with a harsh slam, like a giant falling, he would crash land onto the ground, completely vulnerable and on his backside. And not taking his chance for granted, the demon, almost robotic in his quest to kill, would jump straight onto Elder Pibara's stomach. What? Pulling his speared right hand right up, ready to pierce the Yardratian by the neck, as he would yell out finally, spitting as he would salivate.
So much flesh! Lord Lucifer will have a feast! Ha!
But the cause for Pibara's death would be bluntly interrupted, as grabbing onto the demon's shoulder, a mysterious gloved hand would appear, leaving the confused assailant to slowly turn his head around before... shockingly, standing there before him with the coldest look the Principal Saiyans has perhaps ever given, Vegito, complete with glowing purple seraphim eyes, would effortlessly just spout out...
Hakai!
And just like that, in an instant, the threat would be averted, as the demon within his gaze would be erased to pure nothingness on the spot. As Vegeta, bringing his arm back, would just say,
An attack on my master is an attack on me. You weaklings should have known better.
Vegeta! And with that said, Elder Pibara, still on his back, finally recognizing who was in front of him, would call out the prince's name in a mixture of shock and relief. And as Vegeta would stand now, with his arms crossed and his seraphim eyes still glowing, with a cocky smirk, he would address the fallen Yardratian, saying,
Looks like I came just in time, Pibara. Shame on Kakarot to have not thought of you sooner. Guess we now know who your favorite student is now after all. Right, Master?
Yes! As the bewildered blue creature would just nervously respond, You're right, Vegeta. If it wasn't for you, that would have been the end for me. But I am not the only one here to save, and those demons are surely not the last. Many more are all around, so please be careful. I will try my best to aid you. But just as Elder Pibara would give this warning behind King Vegeta in his super-powered Super Saiyan 4 God form would be seen utterly decimating the demons around, much like his son, turning them to dust. And with his confidence still overflowing, Vegeta would just turn back to his teacher and say,
"Maybe I'm being optimistic, but I think we'll be just fine. That's my father up there, and as expected, these weaklings haven't got a chance in hell against a true Saiyan."
But his smirk would soon then vanish, as now showing signs of concern, he would seriously ask,
"But enough of that. Tell me, how bad have things got here? What are the casualties like so far?"
And with almost a tear weltering up in his eye, Hibara would then explain, Many have already died. These monsters, they arrived out of nowhere, from black portals in the sky. There were so many. We did what we could, but even with our spirit control, nothing could prepare us for such horrors. We've lost a great deal of our people, and though we are lucky you are here now, Vegeta, I fear the worst is yet to come. I can sense these are not even the most fearsome of their kind here. Stronger ones are out there.
Stronger ones?
And piquing the Saiyan's curiosity, Vegeta, raising an eyebrow, would inquire,
"Now where exactly would these be? No point wasting my time here. I'll deal with them directly."
But as Vegeta would question, something out of the ordinary would be sensed on King Vegeta's end. As right in front of the Royal Saiyan, a giant beam of energy, far too powerful to have been formed by those lower demons, would now be point blank with his face. And ultimately, with no time to escape, the king would be struck, being trapped within the confines of a harsh and flame-ridden explosion, sending his body back from its impact, as mid-flight, with some damage on him and one eye closed, he would grumble,
"Where did that come from? Maybe I underestimated you punks."
Eventually landing on the ground, skidding by his feet as he would regain himself. And with a small line of blood now running down his mouth, the king would say,
"Regardless, just a lucky hit. Coming to a new timeline must be dulling my senses. Wherever you are, show yourself, coward!"
As in front of the king in the distance, the dark silhouette of what seems to be not one, but two figures would be seen. Horns on their head, where they came from, would be no mystery. And indeed, once we would get a closer look, two armored warriors would be seen. Demons, no doubt. One far larger and older looking than the other, his fingers still smoking from his blast. As the smaller one, almost looking disinterested in the whole affair, would just fold his arms, not uttering a word. Eventually, however, pulling back his hand, the cold-faced, older-looking demon would say, "I knew this couldn't be all there was to the mortal realm. Seems we are not even the only invaders here. These two are clearly not from here. Keep your guard up, my son. You do not want to make the same mistake your brother did. But the younger demon, now finally opening his mouth, would seem annoyed at even such a request, as he would say, Father, for the love of Lucifer, could you try your best to not bore me with such pointless drivel? The beings of this realm can hardly beat the lowest of our kind. These animals hardly deserve my gaze, let alone my guard. But soon enough, the more wise of the two would begin flying forward, looking back towards his child as he would let out, My son, you may be the strongest demon emperor in the history of our kind, but do not let that go to your head. It is always important to not underestimate the opponent ahead of you, no matter who they are. This one survived even my blast. As the bulked up demon would then land directly in front of the poised and ready King Vegito, with the Royal Saiyan then commenting, A father-son demon duo, huh? How ironic. This shall be the perfect battle to showcase my abilities in this timeline. Father versus father, son versus son. You must have faith in your offspring to leave him to fight his own battles. I commend that. Before King Vegeta's face would take a turn, a smirk etching across his mouth as he would coldly continue. It's just a shame. My son will be murdering yours. As standing face to face, inches from one another, the two fathers would stare deep into each other's eyes, each with complete confidence in both themselves and their son's power, with the demon just replying, Is that so? Well, I wish you two the best of luck then. Lucifer knows you'll need it. Father! But back behind, the younger demon, the youngest demon emperor allegedly, would continue to fold his arms, annoyed as if a spoilt brat, letting out, How embarrassing for you! A demon king, stepping up and conversing with a lowly mortal. You tell me time and time again about the embarrassment Demon King Dabura was to come here and fall. Now, you're acting as if these are your equals. I'll enjoy the day I'm finally free of your nonsense. That's no way to talk about your father, kid. Trunks would have got a beating for words like that. But from nearby, the words of a Saiyan prince would soon be heard. Who asked you, mortal? As with the demon emperor turning around, of course, behind him, with his arms folded too, would be Vegeta. His eyes back to black now, as he would say, Nobody. But was I right in hearing you're a so-called demon emperor? Interesting. I imagined something scarier. I'll show you, scary mortal. as if the two emulating their fathers, now right in front of each other, with Vegito for the first time in a while looking down on an actually shorter opponent. Both would immediately feel a tension in the air, both involuntarily becoming surrounded in violent electricity and lightning, one purple and the other pitch black. But meanwhile, back with the Demon Slayer Vegito and Yamoshi, the two would be continuing their flight through Sector 10 in search of an entrance to Sector 9. But growing impatient as expected, Vegito would turn and ask,
"This is taking far longer than expected, Yamoshi. I know time moves differently here, and I shouldn't be in a rush. But exactly how much further is it? If I find out you've been lying..."
"Hold your doubts, child. We're here."
Huh? You've got to be kidding me!
As when Vegito would eventually look down at where they were, even he would be filled with shock with what he would be looking at.
This could exist down here? This is nothing like hell!
As in a shocking revelation, the realm of the demons would not be as barren as once thought, as before Yamoshi and Vegito would be a vast and grand kingdom, surrounded by walls and an invisible barrier, much like with the sky, but with two giant doors to enter from. And soon enough, the duo of Saiyans would then land right in front of it, staring at the giant entrance with intrigue, as Yamoshi would say, "What else did you expect? They aren't called Demon Kings and Emperors for no reason. They are royalty down here, and royalty deserves a kingdom." As with a smile now finding its way onto Vegito's lips, he would begin moving closer to the tall doors, saying,
"Well, what are we waiting for then? If it's a kingdom, then I bet there has to be some food in there too. Come, Yamoshi!"
But as the two would walk forward in tandem, Yamoshi would be quick to say, "No time for food. Time moves differently, but every second down here is just another moment Lucif could end up merging the realms. That would mean the end of your little friends, so don't forget that." To which Vegito would just reply, Yeah, I only meant a little snack. Don't forget, Kakarot and Vegeta are out there now. They won't be so easily beaten. You really need to learn to lighten up." But as Vegito would turn back his sights to the doors, a dark shadow would begin to cast over him. As instantly, in typical fashion, nothing could come so easily to the tragic God Killer, as two giant dark silhouettes would fall to the ground with a crash, both staring right into Vegito's eyes, and clearly not with good intentions. As suddenly, barring the entrance to the door, the two giant demons, with eyes all over their arms just like Lucif had, would begin suddenly moving their knees up.
Fine! If a bloodbath is what you want, I'm happy to provide!
As triggered, instinctively ready to fight, the Demon Slayer would immediately find himself getting into fighting stance in response.
the...
But what would follow would perhaps be unexpected for all of us, including Vegito, as instantly the two giants would get onto one knee, both with a smile of admiration on their faces as they would call out inexplicably,
All hail the new Emperor of Sector 10, Emperor Fleshy! What on earth?
leaving Vegito perplexed, as he too relaxes his position to his hand on his hip, as he would wonder,
how strange! How would they know already? I'm the new Emperor here! They don't even know my name, it seems.
But Yamoshi, walking past the demons, unbothered, towards the door and their ultimate goal, would just nonchalantly explain, they can smell Isa's blood on you. They can smell his death lingering on your skin. The demons here have evolved through their lifestyle of constant battle to the death to know that kind of information instantly. Expect everyone here to know who you are now, Mr. Demon Emperor. To which Vegito would just respond,
Demon Emperor Vegito, eh? Huh, that's got a nice ring to it.
And so soon enough, Yamoshi and Vegito would begin walking through the kingdom of Sector 10. Yamoshi, as if having seen it all already, would pay no mind, while the God Killer would look all around, noticing the many ordinary-looking demons walking casually, surrounded by stalls selling all manner of items, including hot food. And it wouldn't be long before a loud grumble would be heard from the Saiyan's stomach, as with a look of discomfort, he would yell,
Hey! Wait a second! I told you there'd be food! Can't we stop for just a moment? I'm starving here! I could die if I don't eat, you know!
But Yamoshi, looking back unimpressed, would just respond, You're made of boo, just like I am. You don't need food at all. You're being a brat. Now hurry up, we're right up here. As Yamoshi would then point not too far into the distance at what looks like some form of castle, with stairs rising up to a shiny red door, almost like a ruby in its glistening nature, with Yamoshi adding, Inside there should be the key to progressing out of here. Don't worry, each progressive sector has better food anyway, along with stronger demons. With Vegito replying let down,
Could care less about those demons, but you better be right about the food!
And so, after a short walk, Yamoshi and Vegito would near enough reach the top of the flight of stairs, with the God Killer just childishly commenting,
Man, that was longer than I thought! Are we there yet?
And eventually, they would enter a throne room. At the end of the corridor, a giant chair, with the skull of a massive demon atop of it. Here is where Yamoshi would then say, Right there, on that throne, is where you can access the portal to Sector 9. Only the Demon Emperor of the sector can do this. So simply, go sit on it and call it forth. After that, you can enjoy all the food you want, alright?
I see.
And Vegito, hearing this, would immediately change tune, now finally pleased, as he would say,
Don't mind if I do.
As slamming his hands together, smirking endlessly, the God Killer turned Demon Slayer would let out,
It's about time I received a throne fit for someone like me. Don't blame me if I enjoy this a little too much. It's the little things in life, you know.
As he would then slowly walk forward, seemingly taking in the occasion, making it grander than it actually was, before his dark silhouette would finally take his seat. In the shadows, our hero, ironically appearing more demon than mortal, as a laughter would then begin. Eventually crescendoing with the Demon Slayer Ultra Vegito now sat upon his throne as the official Demon Emperor of Sector 10. A look of pride across his face as he would jokingly say,
Now bow before me. Good. Just kidding. Let's see.
But the fun would only be short-lived, as getting down to business, Vegito would then outstretch his hand and call out,
Come forth, portal to Sector 9.
And heeding the word of the Demon Emperor, a portal would indeed open. And with it, Vegito's hand would slowly move towards it before... Out of nowhere, a black arm would grab straight onto his gloved hand.
Yamoshi!
Pulling him in by force as Vegito would struggle turning back futilely. The God Killer would be removed from his throne and into the unknown depths of Sector 9.
Vegito! Wait!
Leaving Yamoshi in a state of shock as it becomes unclear whether he will be able to follow him in or not. Just what will the God Killer face on his own in the next chapter? But that was it for today's video, guys, and if you made it this far, leave me a hashtag Goku in the comments down below and let me know just what the God Killer will be dealing with now in Sector 9 without Yamoshi. Or just find out what happens right now on my Patreon, where you can see the full next video, fully voice acted, soundtracked and edited for you to enjoy, with over 4,500 plus other fans, as well as getting access to 250 plus other fan mangas too. It's the deal of the century.